Church, thank you so much for watching this video and watching this interview with Erin. She just came back from Guatemala, and she's here to just give us a little bit of an update on what's been going on the island and in her life and things that are just very, very exciting. We are super blessed at City Church to be able to support her and be able to pray for you and just everything that's going on down there in Guatemala. So there's some things that have changed within the past year. So I don't want to steal your thunder or anything like that. So I'm just going to hand it to you. So what has happened in the last year that you could just give us a brief update on?
Yeah. Well, like you said, a lot has changed in the past year. So our team has changed a little bit. There's 4 of us who are working together on the church planting team now. It's Ginder and Noemi, which you guys might remember hearing about them from last year, and myself, and then Ginder's cousin Yosef. So together we have actually moved to a new location. We realized that it just wasn't going to work to plant a church where we were before, and we decided to take a trip and try to figure out, explore other areas in Guatemala where there's a great need for healthy churches. And thankfully, the first place that we visited, we took a vision trip in March, and we prayed about it, and we all just felt like the Lord was leading us there. So it's very exciting. We just moved like 3 weeks ago officially, so we're just getting set up there and everything. The place is called Lake Atitlan, and it's in southwestern Guatemala, so about 5 hours from where we were before. Yeah.
Like when I think, I don't know why, but like when I think Guatemala, I think everything's so compacted.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just...
It looks like a really small country, and I forget what the comparison, like what state here it would be comparable to size-wise, but it's not, it is kind of small. The thing that makes it take such a long time to get from point A to point B is because the roads are so bad and there's so much traffic, so like 5 hours there is not the same distance as 5 hours here.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. That makes a whole lot more sense, because I'm like trying to like picture that in my head. I'm like, you're moving from like, it's only a couple miles, right? Like
Well,
how many miles like would it be? Like help us understand the actual distance that you move, because like from in like central Pennsylvania you go 5 hours, you can be in like my favorite place, Dewey Beach, or you can be like just on the outskirts of New York City. Yeah. Like that's a wide range, but that's different down in Guatemala. So help us understand a little bit of that like distance change a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't actually know the distance between Barberena and Lake Atitlan. I never paid attention to it really. Yeah. To us, it was more important. It's like, how long is it going to take us to get there? But, and also it's in kilometers there. So like, I don't even know how many miles it would be. But to give you an example, so when we were living in Barberena, and we would go to Guatemala City, that was like an hour with no traffic. That was like really good time, but usually it took like an hour and a half. And that was about like 35 miles, I think. Or like if you go from Guatemala City to Antigua, those are also usually on a really good day, it's like 50 minutes apart. It could take like over an hour also, depending on traffic, but that is like, it's not far at all. It's like 17 miles or something.
So that's crazy.
You're just going uphill, and there's all these switchbacks, and potholes and traffic. So no,
that's kind of how it was in California. Like going 20 miles was like a 2-hour trip, and made that mistake once, never made it again. But so what is your role? Remind us of what you're actually doing down there in Guatemala, because whenever we think church planting here, there's, I'm assuming, a little bit more of a different, maybe hands-on role than what we would consider church planting.
Yeah. Yeah, so along with the other 3 team members, I'm one of the core members of the church plant there. And obviously, like, it's just us right now, you know, just us in our weekly Bible study. So each of us are trying to just get out in the community, be present a lot, engage with people, build relationships, and then kind of start to, like, identify people who seem to be open or who would be interested in coming to things. We're gonna have a coffee party soon.
That's
just like,
cool.
you know,
Yeah.
get together, because coffee's pretty big there.
Yeah, makes
and so
sense.
each of us on the team is going to invite a couple people that we've gotten to know, and then, you know, tell them that they can invite others as well, and then we'll just try to be really intentional with, like, getting to know them and building relationships. Eventually invite people to our Bible study, and then, you know, hopefully it will grow from there.
Yeah, because you're looking to go start small and then move out from there, because, like, that's almost just comparing with what, you know, a typical church plant, from, you know, my understanding, is you're starting with, you have a group of people that just kind of go to a place, and it might be a little bit more on the larger side where you can actually have a church service to just, like, start it out, but you're growing from, like, the roots, like, you're setting the roots and then trying to sprout the whole thing. So that's really cool. So, like, on a given week, what's the Bible study actually look like? Because, I mean, it's obviously in Spanish. So that's going to be very different than what it is here. But is there anything different from, like, what we would consider a Bible study here versus there, given the cultural differences?
That's a good question. So far, there hasn't really been anything. I think maybe it might be, now that we're in this new location, because there's a lot of, it's just like a different population, you know, slightly different, like, worldview and atmosphere and stuff. There are people are very religious there, but it's like, in this location, there's one Roman Catholic church in our village that, you know, a lot of people go there, or there are actually, like, a ton of Protestant churches, but they all teach prosperity gospel, and they're basically like, you have to do this and you have to give money to the church so the Lord will bless you, and that's basically what they preach all the time. So like, there's a lot of people who would say that they know God or that they believe in him, but it's like, what God are you actually believing, you know, and, like, what does the gospel actually mean to you? So yeah, but it's in Spanish. Usually we'll gather, we'll pray, we'll sometimes take turns, like, leading the discussion, like, reading the passage, kind of like, what do you notice here, you know, what stands out to you, what do you have questions about, what do you learn about God, what do you learn about people, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing right now, kind of like a discovery Bible study type thing.
So is it pretty well attended? Like, if you were to, like, actually launch the actual church, would it be something that would be able to be done?
Not right now.
No? Okay.
No, we've been there for 3 weeks. And it's taken a little bit longer than we thought to get our houses livable and set up and stuff. We ran into a few issues, like,
that's fair,
bad plumbing that needed to be totally redone. Ginder and Nomi's house didn't have water or electricity for a little bit, and so they weren't even able to sleep there for a couple weeks. So, like, we've all been just trying to get set
like
up
survival
there.
mode, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Like, none of our kitchens, I had cockroaches in my kitchen, Joseph had cockroaches in his kitchen, so we were also trying to, like, we had to, you know, get rid of those infestations, clean everything, so, like, we were just trying to be able to cook in our kitchen, so we didn't have to, like, go out to eat every single day. So are they like the big cockroaches? Yeah. I've seen some of the biggest cockroaches I've ever seen.
Okay, 'cause, like, when I think cockroaches, we got, like, the little ones up here.
Oh no. These are, like, this big.
At least they're noticeable. You can see them.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know where they're at.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched a little bit on the demographics a little bit. So you got some Catholic and some prosperity gospel Protestantism. Are there any other dominant worldviews, like maybe traditional worldviews, that you're also working with?
Yeah.
And that you have to actually do a little bit of like, maybe with the apologetics and things like that, and be able to engage with those indigenous belief systems. Like, have you had to do that at all?
Yeah. So I forgot to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up. So besides Roman Catholicism and like the prosperity gospel stuff, the population in this community is like 90 to 95% indigenous Mayan.
Okay.
So yeah, actually there is also a lot of people who practice traditional Mayan spirituality, and they have even whether...
Okay, hold on a second.
Is it still recording?
I don't know what it's trying to focus on.
Yeah. I'm just moving around so much that...
Yeah. It should be tracking our faces. Okay.
Does it seem okay?
I hope so. I'll restart the Mayan aspect.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the demographics and how you have your Catholics and your prosperity gospel, which is kind of a vein of Protestantism in a way. So are there any like indigenous worldviews that you have to work with and be able to engage with? Just because I can't stay away from the apologetic side of things. So what's that look like in Guatemala, where you're at, the specific village that you're at?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thanks for bringing that up again, because I forgot to mention that earlier. But yes, there is a huge indigenous Mayan population in our community. I would say it's about 90 to 95% Mayans that live there. And so, yeah, they do have a distinct worldview from like Roman Catholicism or, the other worldviews that are prevalent there. And they do still practice, some people do still practice traditional Mayan rituals. And
interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of places outside, like literally I was hiking one day and we saw Mayan altars in different places located along the trail. So yeah, like that's very much still a part of the culture and way of life there. And even if I would say, from what I've seen, even if people don't actually practice Mayan rituals themselves, that worldview and kind of like it's very superstitious, and that's kind of baked into the culture so much that I think everybody has pieces of that in their worldview, like just superstitions about so many different things. So with the superstitions, what's the most glaring one, or maybe the most prominent or the most frequently seen by you in terms of like what this superstition is, just to kind of give us a snapshot of what missionary life is like in Guatemala? Yeah. So I think the biggest one that I've heard almost everybody talk about this. Everyone has some story or at least some knowledge of it, whether they don't personally believe it themselves. There's different like legends, I guess, and I don't know if you would call them, if they would consider them, I guess they consider them like spirits or something. But there's like different people, like El Sombreron is one that a lot of people claim to have seen or like interacted with somehow. And he's like this short little guy in a big hat that will like, one guy said that he was walking down a path like late at night. It was pitch black and he saw this guy and he like claims that he kicked him or something. Like he actually kicked him, like
the
that
little
kind
guy
of stuff.
kicked him.
Yeah. So like some people say that he kind of like starts to harass them or attack them or something, or like people will say that he'll show up at night and like braid girls' hair and stuff, and then they'll wake up with like these little braids in their hair. So some women actually, and it's usually like younger women mostly, I think, they'll like cut their hair short. They'll keep their hair short because they don't want him to like do that.
Yeah.
Or you know, they'll like sleep with it on top of
like
their
in
head.
a bun or something.
Because they truly believe that like he's gonna come. They're like, oh yeah, my, you know, cousin saw him or whatever. Or like there's another one, La Llorona, which you may have heard of before.
I think so. That's sounds
also
familiar.
Popular in Mexico.
Okay.
And yeah, like they say that there's a woman who like is crying for her children. I forget exactly the story. Something happened to her children and she like roams around now and she's like dressed in white, I think. And you can like, some people say they hear her, and then some people say I think they've seen her.
Okay.
They claim to have seen her. There's another lady with like a horse head that comes and like takes children away, is what they say. So like there's all this stuff, but it's interesting because like some people, you know, for some it's just like stories and they kind of laugh about it and they're like, yeah, whatever, you know, yeah, like everybody talks about that. But then there's some who truly act on it, you know. They're like, I literally got my hair cut because I woke up with like braids in my hair, and so
I mean, that would just be freaky to just wake up knowing that you didn't have braids in, but then you did, and then asking that question, what actually happened. So that's a little bit of the culture, what's going on. So what is the best way to support you? Because I know that we can always be praying. As a missionary myself, like I understand, like prayer is like the number one thing that keeps us in the field.
Please never stop.
So prayer. What else is your biggest need right now?
So right now, with the move, unfortunately my rent has gone up a little bit, and so I think because we're in a more remote area, things are just like a little bit more expensive. Like it's harder to get everything there and like live there. So yeah, I have not had time yet to actually look and see the percentage of like where we're at with our fundraising goals, but also our donor base has shifted a little bit, so our team as a whole is still, I would say we're probably only like 50 or maybe like 60% right now. So we could always use more monthly supporters to help us meet that goal of our living expenses, and then we have some new projects that we're working on, and of course like trying to do outreach in the village. We hope to start a weekly Bible club for kids in the area soon. So we're gonna need like, you know, supplies and funding for that. Like it'll be great to be able to have a ministry budget to be able to do some of this stuff as well. Yeah,
so let's just say someone comes to you and says, hey, I'd like to support monthly. How would you walk them through that process, or where would you send them?
Yeah, so there's, it goes through an organization called Advance Mission, and their website is advancemission.org, I believe. Or no, advancemission.com. I'm sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head.
We'll put a link in the description.
Perfect. So you go there, under the drop-down menu is Partners, and we're under Guatemala. You'll see our whole team there, and you can, there's like a little bio for each of us, and under each of our names is a button that says support the team, and it all goes to the same place, and then we're paid based on our set budget out of that. So it doesn't really matter, like you can't go wrong, you know, just click the button, one of the buttons that says support the team. It's in Church Center, so it should be pretty familiar for everybody here. And you'll just have to make sure to select Guatemala from the drop-down menu, because there are other projects in different countries that they support as well.
Yeah, because that was my question. Like, if you know someone is supporting you, are they supporting the team? So by supporting the team, they're supporting you, and by supporting you, they're supporting the team.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's literally whenever you are giving and financially supporting Erin and her team, it is literally you're supporting everything that's going on in that village. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm going to butcher it. But you are going to support everything that's going on in that village. So this is my encouragement to you, is to hop onto their support team, whether that's a one-time gift or monthly support. Monthly support is what keeps you guys going, and with not just staying there, but introducing new things, whether that's resources for your main Bible study or your kids club, your Bible club for the kids. Obviously the resources there, but even just being able to kind of carve out that time for that, all of those, the financial plus the prayer resources, it really fuels you to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually, a few months ago, we just started another new project that we're really excited about, which we hope will provide really good resources for specifically the Mayan communities in the area. So there are 22 Mayan languages spoken in Guatemala besides Spanish. So it's a lot. And so we live like right near a lake, and there's about 12 villages around the lake that are all like, they each have kind of their own culture and like personality, you could say, you know, different economies. They each kind of have a different way of like sustaining themselves and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. And they're almost every village has like almost exclusively Mayan population, but not all of them speak the same language. So there's different Mayan languages that are spoken around the lake. And what we hope to do, we're creating an online platform for theological and sound biblical content specifically for Mayan languages, because there's nothing like that at all in Guatemala. And so we would love to be able to fill that need. And we're at the very beginning stages right now. So the website is almost ready to be launched.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we're working on the first long form video because it has 3 components. We're doing like short videos, kind of like, you know, Reels, YouTube Shorts, that kind of thing, to get it out there and to draw people in, answer, you know, questions that people want to know about these days that kind of have to do with, you know, culturally relevant topics. How does faith intersect with that? What does God have to say about it? And so if somebody finds one of those, then we're always going to have a link to our website and say, if you want more information, you know, go here.
Go here, yeah.
And the website has courses, like full-length courses. So we're thinking, you know, theological stuff, like, yeah, the basics of Christianity, maybe even church history, how to study your Bible, stuff like that. And so the idea, individuals can take the courses, or groups and like churches can sign up together to do it. And then once a group finishes a course, we actually are going to send a trained facilitator to go in person and meet with them and have like a community aspect, you know, so that they can actually have a time of discussion and like further questions and stuff after that. So yeah, we're really excited about it. All the content is going to be created in Spanish for now, since none of us can speak any of the Mayan languages yet. And we'll get Mayan translators to help us translate it all over. But the other interesting thing about it is that it has to be mainly like audio and visual, because there's not a good literacy rate among the Mayan population, unfortunately. They just don't have access to like very good education and literacy. And since a lot of them don't understand Spanish very well either, like that's why it's so important to get it into their language, in something that they can understand and access.
Yeah, and that hits really well with City Church, with Raphael's like kind of tagline, where God meets us where we're at, but he doesn't leave us there. So as you are going out and meeting people where they're at in Guatemala, around the lake, wherever it might be, being able to have those resources in their native languages literally meeting them where they're at, not just spiritually, but quite literally physically meeting them in a place that they're able to actually understand and get the gospel. So church, thank you so much for watching this interview with Erin. It's been great it was great to see you on Sunday, and I don't know how long you're going to be here. Are you going to be here for?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Okay, leaving tomorrow.
It was a short trip.
So please be praying for her, and be sure to pray hard also about whether or not God is leading you to support Erin and her team down in Guatemala. So that link is going to be in the description, and if you are going to do that, please do it fast so that they can they can get this website up. Like that's exciting to me, because I love teaching, I love education. So it's very, very exciting, and just to see all of the things that you're doing just kind of explode down there. So please hop on that, and guys, thank you again so much for watching. God bless.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, God bless.